Hey there guys, this is Dan with Arcade Funcade. Today we're going to show you a 55,001 custom arcade cabinet. So what we ended up doing with this guy is that we made a custom box for our customer. What they asked for is a box with some LED signs and an outlet up top to kind of allow them to plug everything and anything they possibly wanted into the top of this guy. And what we're going to do is show you guys how it all works and how it all kind of came together. So the top of this fella has a little outlet, and that guy allows you to hook up a little HDMI cord and plug in your monitor with that fella. You have 3 USB connections on there, which then also allows you to connect to your control panel, whichever one you have. Sometimes we have the double wide system with the iPac 2, and we have this single control panel that we just made for the customer. So we just made this guy a custom setup so he can have kind of like a take-along machine. This machine literally has the same capacity that the brain and power and everything else that the Megacade and the stand-up Megacade actually has. So this guy is literally just a take-along. It's a plug-and-play, if you will. And this thing has a capability to just get thrown in your back seat, take off, go to a party, go home, go wherever you want, wherever it is that you're going to be going, and have a party in your backseat that you can just take along and go wherever. So we also make these guys a lot smaller. This is a little bit larger than we could have done, so we could do a lot smaller of more of a compact unit. But this is what the customer asked for, and this is what we made. So again, getting back to the control panel, we made a custom control panel. And the customer did provide us with the graphics and images. All this stuff was all sent in through Artwork Doctor out of Pennsylvania. So these guys do some crazy CPO control panel overlay graphics, which is like super scratch resistant. This is the same stuff that they would use in the original stand-up arcades. And it's the stuff that you would see like on the old Defenders and Donkey Kongs. They had like the big cigarette burns on these guys. So that's kind of cool. Super heavy duty stuff. And the back side of this guy also has a little bit of a graphic. I'll spin it around here so you can see what it has. So it's kind of cool. It has a little wrap, little custom wrap. And this guy has a little on and off button here. We'll be hitting that in a second. So this fella has a Xbox 360 receiver plugged in. It has a small little USB connection that allows our keyboard to get connected. And we have an extra little USB here for the control panel. Now we have had customers that asked us for spinner knobs and all kinds of stuff. That can also get thrown into a control panel like this. So we can pretty much put together anything you can imagine or dream of. It's one of those ideas. So it's pretty rad. We can make anything you can imagine. So we're going to move on and show you guys how this all works, how it comes together, how you jump in and out. And again, before we turn the system, one more thing, I wanted to go over the whole idea behind the hard drive. So this thing is running 2 separate hard drives. So it has one hard drive just running the operating system, and it has a secondary hard drive that's running a very large 8 terabyte hard drive that has a little bit extra room. It's expandable, so you can add more games later. The first hard drive is a 4 terabyte hard drive, which is what the operating system is running on. And that was added because of the fact that this customer wanted to have an expandable hard drive so he could then add games from Steam, download Steam, and add a bunch of games from there. He has quite an extensive library that he wanted to add to the system, so he wanted to be able to play that with this guy. So without further ado, we're going to press this button. So we have a little LED button on the side, and we light that fella up, and voila, we light that guy up, man. So we're going to jump over here and show you guys how this system over here runs. And what we're going to do is show you guys the Xbox 360 remote. It's already on and it's blinking, so it's still kind of connecting there. And it loads up fairly fast. A lot of people asked us, we put a solid state hard drive for the operating system, so it'll boot up quick. This guy here, we have a little password thing for this fella. And what we do there, just put it, we pretty much just put put in the password, and it'll literally just, you got to sit back, hang back there, and it'll load up. And once it loads up, I'm gonna higher the volume a little bit here. So this file here is the infamous MAME. So hence the whole arcade classics, little arcade guy up top. So what this fella does, this guy allows us to do is to go in and be able to play any of the coin operated arcade games that people remember, like the Street Fighters and all that good stuff. So you can jump in, and I'm gonna show you guys some of that. Show you some gameplay, and you can literally choose the games with your Xbox 360 remote. All you need to do is just press the start button on this guy, and it'll jump right in.
Loading complete.
Just gotta allow it to start up. Now, a lot of people, I thought I'd mention this. A lot of people see a lot of these startup screens, and they wonder, they think to themselves, why is it that I've never seen these before? And what we have here is a coin button. So you do have to add coins with this little button here. And that allows us to then play the game. And there we go. So we're gonna press start, and you're ready to go. What we're gonna do is, I always find, pick Ryu here. I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of gameplay, kind of get an idea what all whoop. Totally getting my butt kicked. Yep. Timing is off, man. This thing's got to be set under hard, or I just totally suck. So, all right, we're in with the win. So I'm gonna jump out of this game and just shoot back out to the games again, and we're gonna just keep going through the system. There's a ton of games in this guy. This has all of the old school arcade, all the coin operated stuff. So it's kind of cool that we could pretty much just go through everything you could imagine here. So with this guy, what you can do is you can literally push left on the controller, on the joystick. And what you then do is you have this little letter pop up, and you can just choose a letter and jump directly to the letter that you choose, whether it's A, B, C, D, Q, T, R, V, or whatever the heck you want, and you just jump in and out of games real easy. So there's a ton of stuff. Again, if you guys have any questions about any of the games, just let me know. We could put one on and kind of just figure it out. So I just wanted to run through some of the systems, some of the games, and I'm gonna go through some of this, through some of these fellows right here. I'm gonna go to Missile Command. I'm trying to find that guy. I think I may have passed it up right now, not yet. Mario Bros. Yeah, there's a ton of games, and it's kind of crazy. Even Punch Out's in there. Getting close. Might have already passed it up. There it is. Missile Command. So we're gonna start this fella up. And once you press the start button, you just got to be a little patient. It is trying to load up a game. It takes a little while. It takes about 3 to 4 seconds to load up, which isn't too bad. So what we're going to do is add some quarters here. And this guy. So you can literally use the left analog stick on your remote to actually get this thing going. It's pretty darn sensitive. But it's totally doable. Another thing you could use is the actual the mouse cursor. If you press tab, you can actually go in and crap, I'm out of missiles. So there's some stuff that's gonna get blown up. So anyway, I'm gonna jump out of here again. And again, you could pretty much jump out of every and any game with Xbox 360 remote by pressing the select and start button at the same time. So it's kind of cool. So you jump into a couple of games. So I'll jump into Metal Slug here. Always love this game. It's very colorful and it's crazy. A lot of stuff's going on at the same time.
Loading complete.
And again, if there's any games you guys want us to go over or do a little review out of, just let us know. Drop a line, send us an email to arcadefuncade@gmail.com, or just send us a reply. Just tell us what's up. We'll pretty much make you a custom video and send it to your email, or just put it on our YouTube channel, which is Arcade Funkade, and you check it out there. Add some credits. Pick Marco over here.
Mission 1, start.
Right on, I got some heavy machine gun going down. We actually have a buddy. His name is Carlos, and he just every time he gives us a call, he's always talking about heavy machine gun. Crazy Costa Rican fella. I love the guy. He's a freaking nut, man. Total gamer. He's got to be one of the hardest core gamers I've ever known. He's a hell of a Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter, any kind of fighting game monster. I mean, that guy is probably the hardest guy to beat that I've ever met. Jeez, that guy's something else. So, alright, I'm getting carried away. I'm going to jump back out of this guy and just kind of get out of here and kind of go see some of the other stuff. We got a ton of stuff to look at. And there's some golden teas in there, man. There's so many things to go through, but again, this would be like a 4 or 5 hour long video. If we went over every little thing, it'd actually take way longer than that. So there's a ton of machines in this thing, a ton of consoles, different systems that can be played. Games can be added to it. There's so much stuff that's in here that's not even funny. If there's anything that I'm missing, or if you guys want to see, just pause the video, go back and check it out. So there's a bunch of stuff. This Vectrix thing, we're going to be making a segment out of a Vectrix soon. We have some crazy stuff going on with that. Well, Atari systems, TurboGrafx 16, PS2, PS1. There's tons of games for each one of those guys, which is cool. We got the Sega Genesis, the Virtual Boy, the 64 that we just showed. We're going to be showing the 64. We're going to show you guys a little bit of what's going on with that fella. We have a little bit of a challenge. We were playing Donkey Kong Country. We actually had a customer ask us about Donkey Kong Country. We're like, you know what? Donkey Kong 64. And this game, we had a heck of a time trying to throw oranges and even try to control the guy to add that analog stick and to kind of configure it with our system was incredibly crazy hard. So what we ended up doing is that we made this work out. Turn the screen a little bit there. Trying to start it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the start button here. This thing has like a crazy long intro if you start up a fresh game. So we're going to jump in and just go to game number 3. We just started this game, so we're messing around with this thing to see what we can do. So there's a ton of things you can do in this thing. What's neat is that we do have a camera follow me mode. And we've been using the toggle, the little left analog stick on the Xbox 360 remote, but we find that it's a lot easier to navigate with a regular directional pad. And one thing we did find out, which was really, really hard to figure out, is your Z button to configure to make sure everything worked. The Z button was something else. We actually figured out that it's our left, or we actually configured it to our left trigger. And our right C button, which we require to be able to throw oranges, is our top right trigger. So there was a lot more going on than we thought, but we figured it out. So it was pretty awesome. We made a customer really happy with that. So it's pretty cool. So we got that test done. There's also a little jump you can do. What we're going to do is we're going to jump back out, and we're going to go back to another couple of games here. And you can hear Donkey Kong in the background. I didn't close it correctly. And if that ever happens, sometimes that we have 2 games playing at the same time, and it's kind of screwy. It kind of doesn't know what to do. One thing we do, we go on this guy on the keyboard and we press Control Alt Delete when that happens. Go to Task Manager, and we close this Project 64. Just simply click on it, hover over the end task, close that off, and simply close Task Manager. And you're ready to go. It's easy enough. So just press Control Alt Delete, hold them all at the same time, and that little menu will come up. And there's just so much stuff. Virtual Pinball, Future Pin, racing games. This thing literally has all the racing games you could really want. A lot of old school games, some new stuff. So it's pretty rad. I'm gonna jump in there really quick, kind of show you guys around. See what's in there. It's 18-wheeler. This just has a ton of stuff, man. It has GTI Club. It has California Speed. I mean, it has Cruising USA, Crazy Taxi, Daytona USA, Daytona out to the max. I mean, there's just tons of stuff. Ridge Racer, I think, a Drift 4. No, it has Ridge Racer somewhere. Outrun 2006. So there are a couple newer games here and there. And Rush the Rock, or Rush Extreme Racing. So there's quite a few games in here. Suzuka 8 Hours. Virtual Racing. I don't know if you guys remember this one from 32X on the Sega Genesis. Put tons of hours into this game when it came out. Holy crap. I think I just started over again. So we're going to jump back out to the main menu by pressing the select button on the Xbox 360 remote. So there's a bunch of stuff. We do have Daphne games on here. I think we're going to be pulling up to those guys soon. We have the Battle Royale 4-player Pac-Man, which you can hook up four controllers, Xbox 360 remotes, to the same system to play these games. You have the black and white vector systems, the games. You have Asteroids Deluxe, all these guys in here. You have Demon, Gravatar, you have Omega Race, Ripoff, the Star Wars, Space Wars. Star Wars is coming up. Star Wars, that was one of the ones that everybody loves this game. and or thinks they love it until they play the hell out of it, and it's super hard. But this guy is one of I believe 3 or 5 vector games that is a true color vector. So there was only a handful of them that were really made. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's all there was, 3 to 5, and the rest were just black and white screens. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, there's Star Wars, man. It was pretty rad. Tempest, War of the Worlds, man. There's another game right there that people liked. That was one of the cooler games back in the days. So it just came back around. So there's a couple black and white games. We have Hyper Neo Geo 64. I don't know if you guys remember that. There was a lot of games in there that were pretty good, like Beast Busters there. My gosh, that's right there. Beast Busters Extreme. There's just so much stuff on here. Well, this one doesn't have that much, actually. This one probably has about 20 games. 15, 20 games. That's pretty cool stuff, though. It has all the Capcom system games. So it pretty much has files for, it's like a breakdown of certain specific games, so you could really look into it. Definitely this guy has your Dragon's Lair, Dragon's Lair 2, Space Ace, has all those games in there. You jump in there, you can check that out. So you have the original Dragon's Lair, 1983 from Cinematronics. Dragon's Lair 2, 1981 from Leland Games. Huh? Road Blaster. Some of these games were pretty old school, and they were just cool as hell. I mean, some of the stuff was just like way ahead of its time. Some of it was pretty short-lived, which really sucks. But that's just how it goes, I guess. But it's really cool to see some of these systems on here. But Dragon's Lair 1 and 2 was super hard to find. And Cobra Command, that was another game I remember playing back in the day. It was on a little VCR or something, and it was just freaking nuts. It was cool. So I'm going to jump back out of this guy, keep on going. It's a bunch of run and gun games. There's a lot of made up like homebrew games in here as well. So that's a lot of old school stuff, a lot of new school stuff that it's just made up, and or Japanese games. It's just all thrown together. So there's so many things in here. It's not even funny. All the Data East stuff, all the IREMs, like the sidearms. There's a lot of games that R-Type sidearms, a lot of stuff like that. Let's see what they have in here. 10-yard fight. I think that was Kung Fu Master was made by them too. Yeah, right on, man. Kung Fu as well. Moon Patrol was made by them too. Wow, look at that. Sweet. R-Type. That was the game, man, back in the day. So this guy, there's quite a few games. There's got to be like 30, 40 games in there for the IREMs. Potatoes, Konami. So these are all just files of broke down files. This is the homebrew section. You jump in here, and this is all just made up stuff that people just kind of jumped in and screwed around and made their own thing. So like Asteroids, like Donkey Kong, it has a bunch of different versions of Donkey Kongs and different ideas. This guy, I'm gonna jump into Donkey Kong. And again, you gotta try to be a bit patient with these guys. Some of these systems require, and the select button is a coin button on certain games. So we're gonna start this guy up. And the camera does not do the images justice on the screen. It's a whole different deal. There was something that was pretty cool that we learned. I'm not going to grab the hammer. Something we learned, I'm going to try really quick here. Yeah, you can actually jump off the stage and jump over the barrels. So that's a pretty cool little trick there that we learned. We learned that on accident, by the way. We're trying to have this little jump man, not Mario, but jump man, commit a bit of suicide there, so we could kind of keep going. We were testing it out on a cocktail table, and we just figured that out. We're like, holy crap, that's really awesome. Crap, totally messed up. So I'm going to jump back out. Again, by pressing select and start, you jump back out of the game. I'm going to press select, and that jumps me back to the main menu. So we're back to the main. Again, you got there's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of extra stuff. There's commercials, old school commercials. I'll show you guys some of old school stuff in here. The Commodore systems. Here's a Dragon's Lair commercial.
Dragon's Lair, a fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutches of an evil dragon. You control the actions of a daring adventurer finding his way through the castle of a dark wizard who has enchanted it with treacherous monsters and...
So we're gonna move on to another section,
Time Warp.
and what we're gonna do is show you guys how this joystick over here
By the evil wizard Mordrock.
actually controls this. So I'll move this guy back. This controller actually controls everything as well. So you still have your start, enter, coin, and exit button. So you can exit out of the systems. You can navigate the entire menu with this joystick. So that's pretty cool. So you can find whatever game you're looking for, and just jump in and go ahead and play. You know, so that's pretty rad. Get the Game Boy in there. We're gonna jump into a MAME game. I'm trying to find MAME here. So you jump back in there. There it is. Gonna find MAME, jump in that guy, we'll jump into some Joust. It takes about maybe 6-7 seconds to load up.
Loading complete.
I have to adjust this fella so you can see what's going on here a little better. And again, some of these screens that you see when when the machine's turning on, you hardly ever really get to see it because of the fact that it has, you're actually seeing an actual arcade start up, and yeah, I'll show you guys a startup of a machine that it looks awesome. It's the Galaga, which is the one that's always doing pretty good there. Because it says factory settings restored. I'm wondering what the heck happened to this guy. What I'm going to do is just jump out of this fella and mess with it later. Apparently that's not working. Oh, there it is. I jumped out. Jumped out of Joust. Joust is getting stuck. I don't know why. But something we probably got to mess with. We still got a couple updates we got to do to this guy. Again, this is our newest system. It's a 55,001, but we've added a couple games. It's really has like about 60,000 plus games. But we've added a couple things, and just got to mess around with some of the files. So we're going to go to, what was it going to be? It was going to be Galaga. So when you start this guy up, jump in there.
Loading complete.
So that little screen there, that's your ROMs loading up. So that's the screen I'm telling you. When people turn on an arcade, that's exactly what you see. You see that little crosshatch, you hear that little mini explosion. That's when you know you have a true arcade going on, and true ROM. Sometimes the explosion doesn't come up; it's just the crosshatches. But I've had a couple original arcade Galagas that you turn on, and that's what you see, what you hear. So that's pretty cool. We're gonna throw in a couple coins. We're gonna play with the little joystick here. Whoop. I'll zoom out a little bit so you guys can see this guy gameplay going on. Now there is a screw it, I'll get to. There is a little thing that you can do in the beginning of this game. There's two bugs on the left screen that are over under like this. The furthest bug's all the way to the left. If you leave those guys, you can literally you gotta leave those guys alive, and you can pretty much man, it's totally screwed up. I gotta kill my own ship. You can leave those guys, and after about 15 minutes of waiting around, you can literally they'll actually stop shooting. So the bugs will stop shooting throughout the remainder of the game, and you get super far. The bugs will still kind of kamikaze down on you, but that's okay. It's kind of a cool little cheat, and it's something that I've used at arcade halls, which is pretty rad back in the day. Oh, look at that. That is crazy. My ship actually returned on the second stage. That's freaking nuts. I should have left it alive. This left-handed button pushing is really throws off my the game. Again, I'm not a lefty, so that kind of throws me off. I was totally off on that. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys the system, how it played, how the control panel works, how it's all plugged in, what the overall coolness of this machine is. It's a pretty rad machine overall. It's got so much stuff going on, and it pretty much has every console you could possibly imagine in it. It's one of those deals where you kind of like, I'm gonna throw this guy, move this guy back a bit. It's pretty much one of those systems that you can pretty much do anything with, play any game on, any game with, and these guys, the same system is available in the Megacades, in the stand-up Megacades, cocktail table Megacades, and we do have, or we just have just a regular PC as well. So you can just take along a regular PC or even a mini PC. We can also make custom controls, custom boxes, so we can pretty much put it in whatever you can imagine. So that's pretty awesome. We can do a take along or a stationary machine. And yeah, visit us on arcadefuncade.net. And if you have any questions, send us an email at arcadefuncade@gmail.com, or simply give us a phone call at 402-641-4482. My name's Dan Bonilla with Arcade Funcade. We're glad you stuck around and watched the video with us. Hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight on what we're making and what we have. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask anytime. And make sure you give us a share and a like. And we really appreciate you guys watching and sticking through this long video. Thanks again, and game on, guys. That's what it's all about, man. Game on, and enjoy your day. Take care.